we can't educate the child without educating the parent at the same time, right? Because if you teach the child and he comes home and the parent doesn't understand the information, it may cause some type of friction.
Hey everyone, welcome to School After Hours podcast, where we talk about all things related to out of school time programming. I am your host, Jaylee. We have a wonderful person here, Mr. Kerwyn Phillip, who's going to talk to us about financial literacy. We're going to get our money right, our checkbooks together, and also learn about these investments, okay? So, before we get started and go into all the things, Kerwyn, go ahead and share with us a little bit of what you do.
So, I have a regular day job where I'm a trainer at a medical facility, right? But outside of my regular day job, like I'm the president of a nonprofit called the Youth Business Exchange, where we focus on motivating, promoting, and empowering youth entrepreneurs to become successful. Then I also have my own company called Kuku Enterprises LLC, where I speak a lot about financial literacy and also entrepreneurship as well. So I host workshops throughout the year. Also, with the nonprofit, the Youth Business Exchange, we host the annual Richmond Children's Business Fair, which is a platform that allows youth entrepreneurs between the ages of 5 and 17 the opportunity to share their businesses with the general public. We've been doing the Richmond Children's Business Fair for at least 7 years now. It's grown. The first year we had about maybe 30 to 40 participants. Now we have close to 80 that participate every year. We have it at the Dewey Gottwald Center right behind the Science Museum here in Richmond. So right now we do things annually, but we're looking to host more events throughout the year. So that's something we're working on right now as we speak.
Nice, nice. So as you know, Kerwyn, financial literacy is becoming a big thing, especially in underserved communities, let me say.
Yeah.
Getting our money right, knowing what we can do, how we can invest, all those things.
Right.
But also financial literacy is becoming a big topic in education.
Yes.
Because, 1 + 1 = 2, but I also need to know why Uncle Sam's taking so much of my money.
Right.
Can we talk about that? What can we do? What can we do? So, Kerwyn, this is my question for you. Financial literacy is becoming a popular thing in education. What are some of the small things after-school programs can do to adopt financial literacy into their weekly routines as well as their program overall?
I would say, if you can partner with individual like myself who focuses in on financial literacy and help bring someone in to kind of discuss that topic with the young people and have certain activities to get them involved in that. But outside of that, if you want to kind of do it yourself, the simple things, right? There's like games that's been around for years, like Monopoly. That's like a simple game that kind of teaches some of the basics of financial literacy, the life board game, but just teaching kids the basics of money, right? Understanding the denomination, what's a dollar, what's 25 cents, learning how to count money. That's very important, knowing and understanding what money is and the power of saving. There's different activities like budgeting games you can play with young people, like give them a certain amount of money. It could be fictitious money or whatever. There's like a simulation. And so, okay, you have X amount of dollars to spend. Now, you have to, you have your wants versus your needs. Now, how are you going to budget that? You have a certain amount to spend. How are you going to divvy up that money between the wants and the needs? Of course, you have to take care of your needs first and then focusing on the wants afterwards. I remember my oldest son, when he started working, he was working for the Mayor's Youth Academy. And I think they gave him like a $500 stipend, for the summer. And he came to me and said, "Dad, I need to borrow some money." And I'm like, "Why you need to borrow some money? You work." He said, "Well, there's some sneakers I want to get, but I don't have enough money to buy all the sneakers that I want." I said, "Well, that's lesson number one is that, you have wants and needs. You have to learn how to budget. What's most important to you? Which sneakers are most important to you? You have to kind of figure that out and kind of divvy it up and make a decision on what you want to purchase, So it kind of went from there. And he had a friend that was able to kind of get some shoes from overseas. And I said, "But I find it funny that when you want me to buy the shoes, you want me to go to the mall. But when it's your money, you find a way to finagle and get it cheaper, right? Why you didn't give me the cheaper option when I was paying for it, right?" But that's a whole nother conversation. But after school programs, they kind of introduce simple concepts, right? understanding what money looks like, how to count money, simple budgeting exercises, show them the importance of saving, and this, again, there's so much information that's out there that's accessible for the children as well. Like there's like investment games that are catered to young people as well, that's online that they can play. I think there's like a football game. There's like NFL financial literacy that's out there. It's like it asks like financial literacy questions, but it's based around football. So there's so many tools and resources out there that's available for people to use. Just have to leverage them, and you just take advantage of what's out there.
Agreed. But before we go forward and drop some more of these gems, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. So everybody go ahead, get your drinks, get your water, stand up and stretch your legs, but don't go too far because we are coming right back. All right, y'all. See y'all in a minute. Are you a program provider or administrator struggling with planning day-to-day logistics for your after-school program? Or maybe you have a complete brain freeze when it comes to planning program activities. Eh, Or somewhere along the lines of when it's time to plan your activities, you have no idea where to start. What if I told you you don't have to figure those things out by yourself? Hi, my name is Janice Lee. I'm a former after-school program director and the founder of School After Hours Consulting, where we help youth program managers create impactful programs that ensure student success. With my 20 years of experience, I can definitely help you figure out all those things. Book a free 20-minute discovery call where we can get to know each other a little bit more, see if we could find simple solutions to your current challenges, and if you need it, we can see how we can work together. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. We have Brother Kerwyn here with us. We're going to talk about financial literacy and how we can incorporate those things in our after-school programs and how we can begin to educate not just our students, but also our families at the same time. So, Kerwyn, jumping back into the conversation about financial literacy, the last question I asked was, what are some routines that we could do as site directors, program providers to help incorporate financial literacy into our programs, right? But on the flip side of that, my question for you is, how can we get families and community members involved in financial literacy at our sites and in our programs?
You know, there's the old African proverb which speaks about it takes a village, to raise a child. And we may have to partner, with some other organizations to make that happen. Like recently, I partnered with the Associated Black Charities out of Baltimore. Actually, like last summer, they reached out to me to do like a virtual financial literacy workshop series with some students in Baltimore. Initially, we did about 50 young people. We had like a 6-week program where they came, they met from like 10 to 12 every Saturday. And we discussed like different elements of financial literacy, entrepreneurship, the history of Black wealth in this country. And we found it was very successful after we launched it last year. And afterwards, we had a debriefing and we said, okay, how can we enhance it? So one of the suggestions I made is that we can't educate the child without educating the parent at the same time, right? Because if you teach the child and he comes home and the parent doesn't understand the information, it may cause some type of friction. So what we did this year, we did an in-person event, a financial literacy summit, and we invited both the parent and the child. Like one of the requirements was for the parent to register the child, we had to have someone who was 18 and over to come with the child as well, right? So we had about 150 families that we had registered for the event. And then we had some other community partners come in, and there was a bank that the Associated Black Charities partnered with, the State Employees Credit Union. They allowed those families to open up accounts for attending, where they gave, if the child opened up an account, they got $35 to open up a checking and a savings account. And then if the parent opened an account as well, the parent got $50 to open up an account, and then the child got an additional $50 for referring the parent to open up an account. So you had a child that could get $85 in free money to open up in a bank account, and the parent got 50. And again, they got a day's worth of information on investing and entrepreneurship and different things. And one of the things that I had to really emphasize when I spoke that day was, don't let this be the last time that you get in contact with the person from the bank, right? Make sure, okay, they're giving you this free money, contact the bank and see what resources they have that can help you grow this money or help you with your own individual situation. I know some of you here are dealing with debt. Some people here are trying to find first-time home buyers. Some people here are within different situations, and the bank is your resource, right? So what we can do to help bring the community to kind of support it is to kind of bring the community together. In addition to us having the workshop, there's other community partners there as well that offer different levels of support that the families needed, so it's like, took like a holistic approach in trying to help these families out and give them the information that they needed. So you just can't do it individually. We have to all work together because this stuff didn't happen overnight, but it's going to take us all working together for us to help fix the problem. 'Cause this has been going on for a very long time since we came out of slavery in this country, and we had Reconstruction, and the Black community's relationship with banks has not always been the best.
Right.
Which, if you go back and look at the history of the Freedmen's Bank, where a lot of former slaves had their money stolen by the executives in the bank who received no type of repercussions for what they stole, we kind of created a distrust that our elders had for financial institutions. And we look at different things throughout history as well, like redlining and the financial crisis that took place like in the mid 2000s and things like that. It's been a shaky relationship, but if we're able to hold those people accountable through educating ourselves, right? That's why it's so important for us to take advantage of this information age that we're in. But again, that's to answer your original question, that we have to come together as a community, reach out to different partners and see how each person or each entity with their own expertise can add, to the pot to help the community as a whole.
Right. Exactly. I completely agree. I completely agree. My next question for you is, what conversations are important to have around financial literacy when it comes to community involvement?
Okay. So I think initially, the first thing you have to create is a goal. Because oftentimes, like, we walk around and not having a goal, we just walk around aimlessly. But creating a goal gives you a target, whether it's a financial goal or a personal goal, just having something to reach towards. That gives you like an endpoint or a destination to reach. And now you can figure out where you are and navigate towards that point. Like if I'm just in the car that's driving, I'm just wasting gas, right? But if I say, you know what, I'm trying to go to New York, okay, bet. Now New York is the destination. Now I have some credentials or some coordinates to plug into my GPS, and now my GPS can help me get there, right? So the same way is that if you have a financial goal, perhaps you're trying to save to purchase a car, you may want to buy a house, or you're saving for college, or you're trying to start a business. Okay, now you have a goal that you're trying to achieve. Now you have a topic for conversation that you can reach out to somebody at a financial institution with, and you have to have a conversation from there. And it's okay, where are you at right now? Okay, well, you're trying to buy a house. Let's look at your credit. Okay, well, you need to fix some things on your credit, right? So that's the starting point. Let's get some of these things paid off. Let's write some letters. Let's see what programs are available to help people with a down payment. Do you have a down payment? No. Okay, what's your situation? Let's see what's out there. And now you have a sense of direction. And now you have someone that will help you to figure that thing out. Right? You have a guide that can help you get there.
Right. Exactly. Well, everybody, that brings us to the end of our show. But before we go, we got to get into our Professionals Lounge. Professionals Lounge is a segment of the show that allows guests to share advice with other practitioners in the OST and youth development field about how they can begin growing their gifts and talents, but also develop themselves as professionals in the field. Here's our Professionals Lounge conversation. So, for Professionals Lounge, Kerwyn, my question for you is, when it comes to building a youth fair, this is your area, this is your whole area. When it comes to building a youth fair or doing a youth event, what do organizers need to take into consideration when planning?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Level of it.
It's a lot to it. And putting together the business fair, there's like a lot of moving pieces. First we have to make sure we can secure the venue. There's a certain cost associated with that. Do we have the funds to support it? Do we need sponsors? What kind of sponsorship levels are we going to offer within the package? What type of businesses? Like we have the youth entrepreneurs that are participating. Okay, what's the variety of businesses that we're having? What if we have like 20 kids that are baking cookies? Do we want to have 20 cookie vendors or 10 people selling lemonade, or no, just having too many people selling the same thing? You got to make sure that there's like a variety of different businesses. That way everyone can be successful. I know in our case, like the food vendors, we have to make sure that we file certain paperwork with the health department, have them come out and inspect the tables and stuff like that, making sure that we have enough space. What's the setup and breakdown times? Do the parents know the steps they need to do to be prepared for the event? We just plan for everybody. Let's make sure everyone has what they need. Make sure that we can accommodate for. So you have to kind of think about everybody and what their needs are. So depending upon the type of event it is, I think the main thing is to kind of think about the variety of the population in which it's serving and different personalities and needs that population is going to need. The needs and wants for everybody, make sure you're able to accommodate for everyone.
All right, everyone. It's time for us to wrap up this segment of this show. So, Kerwyn, if anyone wanted to get in touch with you to learn more about the book, the fair that you do for young entrepreneurs, or even have you talk about financial literacy with their teams, how would they get in touch with you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. My personal page is at Kerwyn Phillip. Kerwyn Phillip is spelled KerwynPhillip. You can follow my Instagram page for the book. It's at Malik's First Job. Or you can visit maliksfirstjob.com to purchase a copy of the book. The book is also available on Amazon if you want to get it from there. If you're interested in information about the business fair, the Instagram page is Youth Business Exchange or Youth Biz Exchange on Instagram. Or you can look up Richmond Children's Business Fair, and you can find the website there as well.
Well, everyone, that brings us to the end of our show. If you liked what you heard and you enjoyed our conversation, make sure that you're following us on YouTube, but also hit that like button so we know what you are enjoying. You can also find us on other podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts if you want to listen to our audio version as well. To get more behind the scenes stuff, make sure that you're following us on our social media accounts, Instagram and Facebook at School After Hours. Well, that's all I have for today. In the words of Mr. Arthur Ashe, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Until next time, y'all. Bye-bye.